Alrighties, so today I had a plan to make a really pretty drip cake, two-toned with some gold splashes. So to get started, I've got a 5-inch cake that I've already stacked and I've pre-crumb coated, so that's all good. Make sure that works beautiful. And the colors I've chosen are light blue and a navy blue. Now, whenever you're using buttercream, because of the butter in there and it's yellow, it will turn your blue a little bit of like almost like a tealish green blue kind of color, but I'm actually okay with that. If you wanted a true blue, you could add in some white gel food color to help balance it out, or just add a teensy bit more blue to help counteract that as well. So I'm creating a final layer of frosting, and I'm gonna make it predominantly light colored. Just like so. And I'm gonna smooth that out before I add on my darker shade. Maybe a little bit more at the top just to make it a bit even. And smooth that out with your bench scraper. So I've got an extra tall scraper here that I'm using. This is available on my website, rosiesdessertspot.com. I'll link it in the description box once I edit this live stream. So I'm going around to smooth it down, adding a little bit of pressure because I want to move that buttercream into areas where there might be some pockets. So once I've reached about that kind of neatness, I might stop. Now notice there are some spaces at the very top that I don't like, so I'm going to fill that in. Just the very top. And I'll also fill in with the second color. So this is like a navy blue, and I like to use gel food colors whenever I color my buttercream. So it is going to be a bit of a watercolor sort of effect. I'm going to go around and smooth that down. And the more you go around, the more you'll blend the colors. So I'll stop at about there. Make sure it's nice and smooth. And then I'll bring in that lip of frosting at the top. Now, because we want it to be speckled with gold, rather than using gold leaf, I'm going to be creating a gold paint, and we're going to go drizzling that on top instead, or speckling it on top. And clean off the board as well, because I want that to be neat before we get started. Gonna take one glance behind the phone to make sure that everything's working. Hello from Brazil and Algeria. Wow, hey guys. Hope it's not an ungodly hour where you're at right now. So, next step is the speckle. Now to create the speckle, I have some gold powder, or it's actually like a rose gold powder. I've used Bakels Premixes in spiced bronze, so that's what we're using today. And if you have rose water, that would be the best option. Otherwise, you can just use a vodka or a clear alcohol that is high in ethanol, high in alcohol percentage. I'm gonna add maybe like 1/4 teaspoon. That was way too much, but that's okay. We can just add more powder. And I'm gonna stir my powder through. Now this is way too thin for what we want, so I am gonna add a little bit more powder. So I'm just going to pop that there. Ooh, just so you guys can see. And again, just going to pour some powder in there. A little bit at a time, because you don't want to really waste your beautiful powder. That stuff is not cheap. Okay, so getting a little bit better. This is more of a paste. I actually want it to be a little bit thinner, so I am going to add just a smidge more alcohol. If you want a little bit more control, you could use the little lid. So pour it into the lid, pour it back into the bottle, maybe a drop or two into your container, and see how you go. Stir that through, and that's looking more like the consistency that I was hoping for. So it's not completely liquid, but it's not completely paste either. It's very pretty in between. And now we just have to speckle it onto your cake. This is going to get messy, so make sure that if you do it on your countertop and you don't want it to get dirty, maybe lay down some aluminium foil on your counter. From here, I'm just going to tap my brush. Or you can just kind of whiz it on the cake. I think tapping works better. Ooh, just totally touch that. I'm going to add a little bit more alcohol again, just to get it a little bit more fluid and make this job a lot easier. Okay, so that's a consistency. Much better. Tap off any excess on your brush, otherwise you're going to get really huge blobs that just aren't going to look that pretty. I'm going to have so much on my face, it's not even funny, I can feel it on me. All right, I'm going to stop it about there. So we have a pretty cool little speckle effect going on. And now for our drip. I'm not going to add any drip or any chocolate ganache into the center of our cake. We're just going to be working off the very edge. So I'm going to put this away and cover your alcohol as you go, because it will evaporate out of your bottle. So to create our drip, I have some white chocolate ganache that I prepared earlier. It's been sitting on my counter for about 20 minutes, so it did thicken up. I'm going to zap it in the microwave, and then we'll go ahead and add some coloring to this. So about 10 seconds in the microwave. And the colors that I'm using will be navy and blue. These are AmeriColor gel food colors. Whenever you're using ganache, it's probably better, give me a sec, probably better to use powdered or oil-based colors. Gel food color though, if you only add a little bit, it shouldn't affect your ganache. So I'm only going to add a little drop or so. So into the first one, I'm going to add in a drop of blue and mix that through. And you can see how quickly one drop goes a very long way. I'm going to stop stirring because you can see that once the gel food color is in there, if you stir too much. Something tells me that's so dark that the blue isn't going to come through here, but we'll try. Yeah, these look way too similar now. That's okay. That's our navy after adding a drop. And just like the buttercream, because your ganache is a little bit yellow in nature, it is going to create a little bit of a greenish tinge. So I've got some piping bags. And I'm going to fill each bag with the ganache. This one. Push it to the bottom, give it a twist so the chocolate doesn't come out the other side. And I'll do the same with my other color. As a side note, white and blue drip would have looked much better. But unfortunately, I colored all my ganache, so I don't have any white left. So we'll just roll with it. Cut off a very little section. I'm talking maybe like 2 millimeters at the very bottom of each one. Just gives you a lot more control. And then I'm going to alternate with the ganache. So I'm going to, ooh, that was an exaggeration, maybe a little bit more. Gonna start on the edge and then just drizzle over the top. So I'll do 4 drips of that color right next to it. Oh my God, way too small. 4 drips of the next color. Actually want to work quickly with this. And I'm counting as I drip. So I'm counting 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. And now I know that the first and second drip is going to be different length, and it just gives it a bit more interest when you do it that way. If you want longer drips, let it stay in the one spot for a little bit longer. So maybe you'll make that one a bit bigger. And that is our double kind of color drip so far. So that's looking all right. Oh man, I kind of wish that was white, but it's okay. I'll get over it. Our next step now is to create some decorations at the very top. And I'm using a 1M tip to create little rosettes. I've got it in the light blue color and the darker blue color as well. Now I'm just going to test out which color this is. I want to alternate them. So in the lighter section, I'm going to add the dark blue, and in the dark blue section, I'm going to add the light blue. So you'll see what I mean now. Just a rosette right here, and then alternating color right next to it. Now that one came a little bit too far off the cake, so work slowly and precisely if you can. Last one. And there you have a speckled drip cake with some pretty rosettes at the very top. I actually want to add some gold though, so I'm going to add some gold. And to do that, first of all, I need to find my gold beads. So these are just edible gold driggies. I believe they're 1mm in size. 2mm. Nope, that's 200 grams. 2mm gold. So I'm just going to sprinkle those directly on top of the rosettes. And if I can, I mean, my buttercream's probably set by now, but I'm just going to toss them at the very bottom and just hope nope, they don't stick. So that is our cake. Just love live streams. I mean, I could have totally edited that out, but now I can't. It's all right. Hope is not lost. You can just press them in. If you wanted to chuck them randomly on cake, you'd have to do it as soon as you kind of scrape down your frosting, so it's nice and wet and it's tacky and sticky for your beads. But I'm just gonna force them on there instead. And then from there, just clean up your cake board. Let's just remove the excess. It's going to be a big cleanup job, but that's the life of a cake decorator. And I'll come around and see if you guys have any questions as well. So normally if I had a cameraman, he could have totally called those questions out for me, but I do not, and therefore I will come around. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see if you have any questions. Okay, hey guys, so many hellos. Cutest apron ever. Thank you, Mike from Epic Confections. Awesome, I'm glad you guys like it. Lynette Riley asks, how have you thinned the drip, Rosie? I just tuned in. So that is white chocolate ganache. If you want it to be a little bit thinner, you can add a bit more cream. So normally with white chocolate, you would add 1/3 of the weight in cream. For example, 300 grams chocolate, 100 grams cream. To make it thinner, just add a little bit more though. Byron Chandler asks, Rosie, have you made a rainbow drip cake? Yes, I actually have. So that is up on the channel already if you'd like to check that out. I can link it in the description. Just scrolling. Oh, thank you guys so much for your sweet comments. Okay, beautiful. I think that is all. Hello from Paris. Hello, Nelly. Okay, beautiful. You know what? I want to cut it, but I have to take photos. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to post that up later. Thank you everybody for being here today with me. I hope it's not too early or too late where you are. And I will catch you guys on Tuesday. Ciao, ciao.